Good afternoon, Edison families. My name is Miss Yost. I'm the principal here at Edison, and this is Miss Kovacic, the assistant principal at Edison. It has definitely been a year of challenges. Staff, students, and parents have been asked to take on new roles and responsibilities this year. It has not been easy, and today we wanted to just briefly recognize all of your child's hard work and dedication. We want to thank our parents and guardians for your unwavering support of your child's education throughout so much adversity this year. Today, we want to highlight just 3 students from each class, 3 of our students who have impressed us in numerous ways this year. We will start with our Principal's Award recipients first. These students have shown true leadership and perseverance throughout the year. We honor their commitment to themselves and to the Edison family as a whole. Today we are going to recognize the Principal's Award to the following students. They will receive their certificate and a plaque of recognition. In Mrs. Fritz's class, Elijah Sanders and Mila Gaitan. In Mrs. Doppler's class, Ashley Lynn and Alina Areola. In Mrs. Capura's class, Angel Melgoza and Deliza Hernandez. In Mrs. Vaines's class, Jimena Sanchez Carino and James Miller. In Mrs. Kane's class, Alexander Perez Vargas and Luke Celis. In Mrs. Gonzalez's class, Alina Hernandez and Jonathan Rodriguez. In Mrs. Mackey's class, Aiden Hernandez and Alaric Chase. In Mrs. Labus's class, Jose Guerrera and Kyle Vanderwall. In Mrs. Rodriguez's class, Anthony Garan and Gianna Yanez. In Mrs. Simon's class, Aiden Richardson and Yuretsi Santillan. In Miss Brazo's class, Abigail Barrera and Jalen Martinez. In Mrs. Chirilla's class, Wesley Dawson and Donovan Tharp. In Mrs. Wasowski's class, Layla Meadows and Eric Contreras. In Mrs. Seraphin's class, Brendan Luther and Stefania Casa. In Mrs. Michelik's class, Roy Jones and Anaya Edwards. In Mrs. Ramirez's class, Jakila Johnson and Demarius Andrews. In Mrs. Shennick's class, Francisco Uristegui and Kamaya Brock. In Mr. Locke's class, Mauricio Campos and London Starkey. In Mrs. Wolf's class, Dakota Chase and Layla Vandis. In Mrs. Thorne's class, Ethan Avila and Emmanuel Wilkes. In Mrs. Walker's class, Jakila Cole and Trinity Cordero. In Mrs. Shub's class, Jose Rodriguez and Valeria Bolivar. In Mrs. Prince Vandis's class, Lauren Garan and Jevon Rogers. In Mrs. Dumary's class, Dawn Luther and Taylor Vanderwall. In Mrs. Clayton's class, Connor Gemeni and Jordan Menesarnares. In Mrs. Jones's class, Sergio Ortega and Anthony Rodriguez. Congratulations, boys and girls. And now we will move on to Most Improvement. I am so proud to honor our students for this next award. In a time when it is difficult to show up and do the work, these students not only continue to show growth, but were recognized for showing the most improvement from the beginning of the year until the end of the year. This hard work and dedication to improvement is an example for all of us.
And now for our Most Improved Awards. These students will get a certificate as well as a dog tag for Most Improved. Our first one, let's start with Mrs. Fritz's class. Our Most Improved is Ashley Burns. Mrs. Doppler's class, Iker Salgado. Mrs. Capura's class, Martel Anderson. From Mrs. Vane's class, Yelani Mendoza. From Mrs. Kane's class, Jaime Cerna. From Mrs. Gonzalez's class, Sebastian Perez. From Mrs. Mackey's class, Nuvi Jenkins. From Mrs. Labus's class, Jonas Muniaga. From Mrs. Rodriguez's class, Rodney Williams. From Mrs. Simon's class, Darian Wagner. From Mrs. Brazo's class, Damani Jackson. From Mrs. Chirilla's class, Amarius Hernandez. From Mrs. Wazowski's class, Natalia Patterson. From Mrs. Seraphin's class, Jacob Rosas. From Mrs. Michalak's class, Lysander Mendoza. From Mrs. Ramirez's class, Amari Smith. From Mrs. Shenick's class, Santiago Serrano. From Mr. Locke's class, Mia Rodriguez. From Mrs. Wolf's class, Geraldine Gonzalez de la Rosa. From Mrs. Thorne's class, Miguel Plata. From Mrs. Walker's class, DeAnthony Jackson. From Mrs. Shube's class, Jonathan Garcia. From Mrs. Prince Vandis's class, Justice Price Sutton. From Mrs. Dumary's class, Lucas McCoy. From Mrs. Clayton's class, Elijah Carter. And from Mrs. Jones's class, Isabella Salazar. Congratulations to all of those most improved winners this year.
We are so proud of all of your hard work and appreciate all of your work and dedication this year. Have a great summer, boys and girls.